I thought Graceland should be open to the public so they could share in his achievements and learn more about the mythology and the guy. All except one room at Graceland tells a tale. Millions tour the estate, but the upstairs is off limits. In that portion of the mansion, time has stopped since Elvis left. No guests, staff, or VIPs are allowed up there. But why? Protection of what's secret and sacred. We reveal the secret of Elvis Presley's most private room and why it's off limits. Why Graceland's second story is off limits. Graceland was always lively before Elvis Presley died in 1977. Family and close friends often stayed for long durations. Others lived in modest buildings outside the mansion, while others were invited inside. The decor, colors, and furniture mirrored Presley's personality, according to everyone who visited. He was revealed by everything in the home without uttering a word. This house was open and expressive, like its owner. Graceland's second level was always off limits, even if the property was welcoming to guests. Elvis's master suite was there. Few people glimpsed this mysterious world. Even close pals needed authorization. Allowing someone upstairs suggested they were important to him. That space wasn't for show. He went there alone, away from cameras and crowds. Only there could he relax and be himself. Graceland gradually became public after Presley's death. It opened to tourists in 1982. The home has hosted hundreds of thousands of visitors since then. They browse the rooms, enjoy the decorations, and envision living within. The trail always ends, no matter how far they walk. Limited access to the second-story stairs. No presidents or foreign leaders have been permitted up there. Time has stopped in that house. No one has seen the upstairs rooms. Respect for Elvis's memory is thought to be the reason. Some believe the space remains unspoiled and preserved as he left it. Others attribute it to what happened there. Presley died in the restroom off his bedroom, casting a shadow across the space. Letting the public through could make something sacred, sad, or uncomfortable. It would focus on his death rather than his legacy. Few individuals have been permitted up there since Elvis died. They included his ex-wife, Priscilla Presley, and daughter, Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie felt strongly about spaces. She saw it as more than a bedroom or memory spot. It bonded her to her father, not merely a private space. His life ended there. She wanted it to remain secret, something for her and her family. Though the home became a museum, Elvis still owned part of it. There is one notable exception. Nicolas Cage, who was married to Lisa Marie, was allowed upstairs. Elvis's loyal devotee Cage was allowed a rare tour of Graceland's hidden area. He called it a rare personal and emotional event. Even with all the mysteries and stories, the second story is closed. The silence behind sealed doors still intrigues people. That mystery preserved Elvis Presley's fame. It keeps half of him hidden in his life's glamour and mystery. The significance of Graceland was recognized in 2006. U.S. Secretary of the Interior Gail Norton designated it a National Historic Landmark. Elvis has irreversibly impacted American music and culture, she said. Graceland was more than a residence. It symbolized change. Today, Graceland is one of the most visited U.S. houses. Each year, almost 600,000 people pass through its halls and imagine the life of its former owner. However, the house's heart is hidden. The second floor, where Elvis died quietly, is preserved. He wanted to keep the last bit of his world quiet and hidden from the world. Look at what makes this place famous: a rich Graceland history. Graceland began as a tranquil plot of land owned by Memphis legend Stephen C. Toaf. After working in newspapers, he ran one of the city's oldest printing companies. Graceland was named for a reason, named after Grace, his daughter. He left her the land in 1894, and it stayed in the family for years. After Grace died, her niece Ruth Moore inherited the land. Memphis famous socialite Ruth and her husband, Thomas Moore, were determined to do something unique with the site. The location received a huge colonial restoration home in 1939. Furbringer and Ehrman created a 1,000 square foot residence. The home stood magnificently amid open farmland, away from the city, surrounded by trees and space. Years later, Elvis Presley became famous. He lived with his family in a modest Memphis house on Audubon Drive in 1956 as his music career exploded. The $4,000 home was adequate at first. As more people heard his song and saw him on TV, fans started gathering daily at his house. Quickly, the neighborhood was overrun. Neighbors liked the young celebrity, but the noise and crowding got too much. Change was needed. Elvis asked Vernon and Gladys to select a farmhouse-style home with lots of space. He handed them $1,000,000 to find a peaceful home for the family. Graceland, miles from Memphis, was found during that quest. It was largely open land in southern Shelby County. Elvis bought the estate for $102,500 in March 1957. It was perfect. The house and land were large and private. Graceland's surroundings evolved throughout time. New homes and developments surrounded Memphis as it grew. Graceland remained special, while the countryside was developed into a metropolis, a secret universe for Elvis and his loved ones. He invited Richard Williams and Buzz Cason over. They laughed on the front porch, took pictures, and looked through the windows at the colorful walls within. The rooms were painted bright reds and purples to match Elvis's lively demeanor. He joked that Graceland illustrated how a man might succeed in America from nothing. Unfortunately, Graceland became Elvis's mourning spot. He lost his mother, Gladys, in 1958. Her loss hurt him since she was his emotional anchor. Dee Stanley moved into Graceland with her children after Vernon remarried in 1960. But the new family dynamic didn't bring serenity. The stepmother and Elvis had a conflict. Dee changed the house, replacing Gladys' furniture and draperies. Elvis had to fix things since he never accepted such alterations. A vehicle arrived at Graceland and took Dee's clothes, furnishings, and pets. Vernon, Dee, and her children moved to a nearby house on Dolan Drive. Graceland was always important to Elvis, despite his popularity and life changes. He routinely hosted his cousin Billy Smith and his wife, Jo, at the estate. 3 of them talked for hours. Elvis would suffer nightmares and seek Billy's comfort, occasionally falling asleep in their bed. The jungle chamber at the home was legendary. It had odd decor and bright colors. Elvis liked the garish designs and textures. In Las Vegas, Elvis married Priscilla in 1967. Their daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, arrived a year later. Her childhood was spent at Graceland, roaming through its halls and playing in her father's favorite rooms. After Elvis and Priscilla divorced in 1972, Lisa moved to California with her mother. Graceland was still important to her. The family celebrated Christmas in the mansion every year. Lisa Marie constantly returned to her parents' home. Elvis always thought of Graceland when touring. His crew would customize his hotel rooms to match his favorite home areas before he arrived. They delivered his furnishings, set up the place, and made it feel homey. Knowing he could relax at his home helped him relax. Graceland was more than a home. Elvis lived with his family, endured his tragedies, and celebrated his joys there. It held his life's memories and became a symbol of him. Graceland is memorialized. Elvis Presley was discovered dead in his Graceland bathtub on August 16, 1977. His age was 42. The original declared cause was cardiac arrhythmia, but toxicology results revealed a darker truth. His body had 14 hazardous hard drugs, some in significant concentrations. Although his health had been deteriorating, no one expected this. So suddenly, so alone. His remains were buried in a 1,900-pound copper-lined casket. It was within Graceland's entry hall. Visitors flooded in for hours, over 3,500 fans gently saying goodbye. 2 days later, the residents hosted a private funeral. About 200 individuals came. Elvis adored this bright stained glass doorway to the music room where the casket was situated. A tearful goodbye was accompanied by silence and the weight of his sudden death. Graceland was more than a house after the funeral. The family stayed there. His Aunt Delta lived there until her 1993 death, when her husband died. Elvis invited her, believing she would feel at peace. Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's only daughter, received Graceland at 25 that year. The estate her father created into a kingdom of music, memories, and legacy became hers. Many of Elvis's closest family members were buried in the meditation garden beside the mansion. Presley's parents, Gladys and Vernon, Owen, were buried there. His grandma, Minnie Mae, is also buried nearby. Even Lisa Marie's son, Benjamin Keogh, was buried there. Jesse Garin, Elvis's stillborn twin brother, has a memorial gravestone. Today, guests can walk through the garden before or during visits. It has become a holy nook of Graceland, with more meaning than words. Elvis's father, Vernon, managed the land, but he died 2 years later in 1979. Elvis left Priscilla Presley, Elvis's ex-wife, to manage things for their 11-year-old daughter, Lisa Marie. It was hard to manage the estate. Graceland's annual maintenance costs $500,000. Elvis had squandered most of his cash, leaving Lisa Marie about $1 million. Taxes and other bills were mounting. Graceland was even considered for sale to fund costs. Priscilla opposed that. She investigated how other notable estates survived, including museums and old homes. Inspiration drove her courageous decision. She hired Jack Soden as CEO and planned to open Graceland to the public. Big risk, but it worked. Fans entered Graceland on June 7, 1982. 1 month later, it had recouped its preparation costs. It became more than a home immediately, become a destination. Priscilla chaired and presided over Elvis Presley Enterprises until Lisa Marie was old enough. The estate's valuation rose to nearly $100 million over time. Elvis's death anniversary draws fans from around the world to Graceland. Elvis Week has become a tradition. The events include seminars, picnics, and a special liturgy at St. Paul's Church. People go across the estate at night with candles and stop at Elvis's grave for the candlelight vigil, the main event. Media from throughout the world covered the 20th anniversary in 1997. It was an emotional and remembrant worldwide event. Despite heavy rain, 40,000 people attended the 25th anniversary in 2002. About 30,000 people attended the 38th anniversary vigil in 2015. At least 50,000 fans were predicted for the 40th anniversary in 2017. Due to large crowds, attendees had to pay $28.75 to attend for the first time that year to cover extra security. Many Graceland lovers see it as more than a journey. Like a journey. Some wait years to enter Elvis's world. They wear headphones that recount their life story when they arrive. They pass through rooms full of his belongings, his guitars, clothes, and records. Everything within tells a tale. The tour shows his challenges. It reveals the man's talent, struggles, generosity, and gospel music passion. Prayer and kneeling are common in the meditation garden. Some murmur thanks or hum his songs. Flowers or handwritten notes are left. Graceland's wall is covered in messages. Appreciation is shown. Others thank or request help. Elvis Presley is remembered not only by images and music, but by others who still love him. Graceland remains a house and a living memory of music, tragedy, and love. The property had problems, alterations, and conflicts. Graceland holds Elvis Presley's stories, memories, and treasures. It has grown and changed, yet it still attracts international visitors. Graceland's Elvis Presley's Memphis exhibit complex is a major expansion. This facility revitalizes the estate, giving fans more to see and do. The Elvis Presley Motors Museum shows Elvis's pink Cadillac and other cars. Elvis liked vehicles, as shown by his enormous, well-maintained collection. Sirius Satellite Radio constructed a studio on site that plays Elvis's music 20 hours out of 7 on its own channel. He lives on in Graceland through his voice. 2 aircraft are proudly displayed beside the Automotive Museum. Lisa Marie is a Convair 880 jetliner, and Hound Dog 2 is a Lockheed Jetstar business aircraft. These jets are no longer flying, but Graceland visitors can view them. They remind folks that Elvis loved luxury travel. Lisa Marie Presley made a momentous choice in 2005. She sold 85% of her father's business, but kept Graceland and most of its personal items. She assigned Graceland management to CKX Inc. This corporation was involved in the entertainment industry and owned American Idol. Also involved was CKX board member Priscilla Presley. The estate then focused on growing Graceland while maintaining its connection to Elvis's life. Elvis Presley Enterprises, EPE, was later mainly owned by Graceland Holdings, LLC. They were commanded by Joel Weinshanker. Lisa Marie Presley's estate retained 15% of the company after selling most of it. That modest fraction gave her family control over Graceland and preserved Elvis's legacy. An intimate detail was revealed in August 2018. Graceland's meditation garden held Gladys Presley's headstone, which had a Jewish Star of David and a crucifix. Elvis designed it. It was preserved in Graceland's archive for years, but now it's on display near the Presleys' graves. A year later, in 2019, Graceland owners faced trouble. They required Memphis backing to expand the property by $100 million. They said they may have to move Graceland without help. The Memphis City Council approved a tax incentive arrangement for the expansion. This kept Graceland in Memphis, its rightful home. May 2024 brought more difficulties. Foreclosure was listed. In 2018, a business claimed Lisa Marie Presley secured a $3.80 million loan with Graceland. Her daughter, Riley Keough, alleged the documents were phony. Elvis Presley Enterprises supported her lawsuit to stop the sale. A Shelby County judge invalidated the loan documents in court. The lender skipped the hearing. After that, foreclosure was scrapped. NBC News investigated Nosani Investments and private lending. But public documents were unclear. The perpetrator, Gregory E. Nosani, was also missing. A troubling twist emerged later. Nigerian identity thieves claimed responsibility. One leader even emailed the New York Times in Luganda, alleging their organization had followers across the U.S. who targeted the deceased. They claimed Lisa Marie owed them $2.8 million in a California probate court after she died. The case generated news, and experts say it wouldn't have been recognized without Elvis Presley's family. No proof of the company's existence existed. No scheme affects Graceland despite these developments. The Graceland mansion and its 13 acres remain in Lisa Marie's trust for her kids, Riley Keough and Harper, and Finley Lockwood. They own all of Elvis's personal items, his cars, furniture, awards, and outfits. Before her 2023 death, Lisa Marie ensured that these things and the mansion would always be open for visits. She honored her father in the most honest and respectful way. Detailed Elvis Presley house description. Graceland silently watches over the lush fields from a hill. Giant oak trees covered the land. The two-story colonial restoration home was spectacular. The tall main section had 5 bays and a dark asphalt shingle roof that sloped to the sides. A triangle-topped 2-story portico protruded from the front, while 1-story wings flanked the north and south sides. One of the wings had a tiny stucco carport that could store 4 cars. The south chimney rose from the roof, whereas the north chimney was placed into the outside wall. Tan limestone from Mississippi was painstakingly cut and hauled in for the front and side walls. Smooth stucco gave the back wall and 1-story wings a clean, bright finish. Elvis quickly personalized the estate after buying it. He renovated and added to the property for about $5,000,000. A large pink Alabama fieldstone wall surrounded the grounds as one of his first alterations. Over time, people from all over the world wrote comments and signatures on that wall, making it a colorful and moving monument. What became known as the Wall revealed its own story. A local contractor named Abe Sauer helped Elvis realize many of his ideas. He made the front wrought iron gates look like a gigantic sheet music book. Green musical notes and reflected Elvis holding a guitar ornamented the gates. These gates became legendary like the mansion. Sauer added luxury with a kidney-shaped backyard pool. He then built a private racquetball court, a rare luxury. Elvis used that racquetball court one August morning in 1977. He played some games with his girlfriend, cousin, and cousin's wife. He played a few songs at the brown upright piano in one area after the game. He returned to the main home, showered, and went to bed. That night was his last. The court has been meticulously restored to its final appearance. Inside, the 2-story edifice resembled a country club. Elvis relaxed on the bar's dark leather couches and sunken seating. An all-encompassing stereo system played music throughout Graceland. Also on the property is Elvis's father, Vernon's little white office. Elvis converted an old meat-curing smokehouse into a private shooting range. A horse barn gave the glitzy estate a rustic air. Elvis's meditation garden was a personal touch to Graceland. Bernard Grenadier designed a peaceful landscape for contemplation. Elvis frequented there when things were hard. It provided a peaceful retreat on a busy property with flowers, fountains, and stone walks. Many had strong Graceland opinions. Visitors were astonished when they entered. Where they expected elegance, they discovered something different. The home included velvet, gold, glass, and dazzling colors. Some found it excessive. Graceland was too gaudy and vulgar, critics said. Someone stated it looked like an old brothel, not a celebrity's residence. Red velour, sparkly tassels, fine European furniture, and knickknacks didn't belong together in the rooms, they said. Some stated the mansion tried too hard to look regal or costly, and felt false. Elvis and other visitors considered the home tacky, cheap, or gaudy. Others remarked it seemed like a restaurant that tried to be classy but failed. A specialist called the estate a colorful dream. The property looked like a southern mansion from the outside, but felt like a Hollywood set inside. Elvis liked it, though. He filled it with his favorite items, regardless of others' opinions. Some admirers were disappointed with the formal rooms on the front of the house. These rooms were exquisite but frigid, with distant blue and white colors. However, the jungle room was unforgettable. The room had fake plants, animal patterns, carved wood, and shag rugs. Bold, unusual, and loud. Many admirers saw it as proof that Elvis lived independently. Graceland remains strong. After years of changes, it still shows a man who never did things halfway. Like, subscribe, and click the next video if you liked this one.